Hey guys, this is your updated guide for modern dating. Where is it going? What's working today? What's no longer working? What's trending and how you can survive in these ever-changing modern times as quickly as let's say AI as an industry is moving and adapting and changing and the old techniques no longer work. The same thing is happening with modern dating. So let's dive in. The first thing is that, unfortunately, sad to say, we live in a more or less monetized dating marketplace. I'll say that again. We live in a more or less monetized dating marketplace. I came up in the game in around 2007, 8, 9, 10 is when I first started, going out, going to nightclubs, going to frat parties in college and whatnot. And that was what we called the free love era. Okay. And then it was all through meeting people in person, and women more or less, look, they always were on the lookout for rich guys. They always loved rich guys. Things like being tall, handsome, rich. They're never going to go completely out of style no matter how much stuff changes. But it wasn't the main thing they were looking for. Then in around 2012, 13, 14 was the rise of Instagram, the rise of Tinder. Things became more virtual, but it was still the free love era. Now we're living in the virtual, or I said digital, I meant to say, not virtual. We're not in virtual reality yet. Now we've evolved into a digital era. But that's nothing new. That's been since, 2022, 23, 24, like 2023, 24, 25. But the new thing that we're seeing even more and more is this ever increasing rise in monetized dating marketplace, meaning beautiful women are only dating rich guys. Period, point blank, end of story. And when I say something like 80% or 90% of beautiful women are doing some form of pay for play, I do mean it. Even if you can get it for free, there's a few good looking guys, on my channel. Maybe you go to more favorable dating markets. You go to Brazil, you go to Colombia, you go XYZ place, and you're finding out you're getting it for free. Cool, awesome story, bro. But do you know basic math in the sense that, let's say you get it for free from a girl that's a 21-year-old receptionist, like a front desk employee makes what? 6, 7, 800 bucks a month. If she's lucky, she makes 800 bucks a month US. She has an iPhone in a Latin American country that's 60% more expensive to buy an iPhone there than is the United States on a receptionist salary. And plus she's been to Dubai, France, and Tulum. Okay. If you can do basic math, you know that there's something going on. Okay. She doesn't have rich parents or anything like that. That's not the case. So even if you can get it for free, trust me, she's gonna not use her assets. It would be like me not using my intelligence, or a 7-foot guy not using, a coordinated 7-foot man, never thinking, gosh, I wonder if I should try this thing called basketball. It's just using what you've got. It's using your genetic talents or gifts, whatever you want to call them. And women are doing that these days. And what does this actually mean? Am I telling you to go join sugar daddy websites? Am I telling you to go on a sexual tourism romp through Latin America and have sex with a bunch of prostitutes? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is two things. Understand that if you're not able and willing to provide, pretty soon, or at least, showing intention of that, she's going to move on for a guy that is going to support and share his cash and prizes and wealth with her. And the second thing I'm telling you is that understand that, especially if you're, say, in your late 30s or 40s, maybe you're not this jacked, amazing, perfect carved out of wood specimen like I am. Kidding, obviously. Then you're gonna have to incorporate some of what I call big baller game. I have a whole video on this. It's like 1 or 2 uploads back. You can just search, this channel. You can type in Redbeard Rants Big Baller Game. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description to that video. But, and it's in a nutshell, is like it can be implied or direct. So Big Baller Game is not about simping. It's not about using money as a lead source to attract women. Okay, we never use money or Big Baller Game to attract women. That doesn't work on the front end, right? It's what retains them, and what ends flaking, or heavily reduces flaking. So girls you're already talking to on Instagram, girls you've already matched with on a dating app, you can ask them, hey, what are you looking for? And then they'll say, whatever. Or actually what I do is say, hey, what are you looking for? And then before they can even answer, I have a copy and paste message. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. And it says something to the effect of, I just want a traditional woman. The women back home from my country are very masculine and rough, and I don't want that. I want a girl that likes to wear pink. She likes to put on makeup. She's happy and present and just, affectionate. And I don't care about your job or anything. I got enough money for the both of us. Like, if we were dating, we could live the good life, travel together. It's all good. That's what's called implied big baller game. Okay. You're just basically saying, hey, if this were to go somewhere, I would be willing to be a provider, and I get an amazing reaction to that. Okay. That's an amazing line to use. Okay. And actually in my program, I have a full copy and paste text message database with 70 plus copy and paste text message database. And the whole thing is like automated. If you want to go more find out about that, go to my Instagram, which is RedbeardRants1, message me the word tiger, and I'll explain the entire dating automation process, which includes that aspect of the full copy and paste message database with lines that show implied big baller game. The second way you do big baller game, and I talked about this in a vlog, is I bought a girl a bikini at the mall. I said, hey, meet me at the mall for our first date. I'll buy you a bikini. I took her upstairs to my pool. Mo in the editing put the video of Mariana in the pool and stuff like that. We'll show that little vlog right there. And we made out in the pool. Then I took her to sushi. Then I took her home, and really good things happened after I took her home. Actually, some good things happened in the pool too. Now, I think on that, all in all, in that day, I spent like $80. You know, the Uber maybe 15 bucks. The bikini was 40 bucks. So now we're at 55 plus the sushi. I mean, shit, it was probably even more like $75, something like that. If that offends you, if you think that I'm simping, if you think buying a girl a bikini, if you think that that devalues anything I'm doing or teaching here, if you think that for a beautiful girl like that girl Mariana, look, I don't know, I don't care if you rate her a 7 or an 8 or an 8.5 or a 3, she's an attractive girl. She's a very pretty girl, way more beautiful than the average girl walking around in any city, be it Asunción in Paraguay, be it Medellin, be it Denver, Colorado. And if you think you're going to press a girl like that in any country and say, hey, will you have sex with me if I buy you a bikini? That's not how it works. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm encouraging you to do, okay? There's a whole video about big baller game, but I'm just trying to tell you guys, whether you're meeting girls at the mall and getting them a little gift, whether you're just inviting them to like a super nice restaurant where they're like, damn, if this guy can pay, if he can afford to invite me here, the most popular, you know, extravagant, expensive restaurant in the city, or if he's, you know, doing even just implied big baller game by saying, hey, you know, like I said, I'm in this, you can't see it right now, but I'm in this like 4-bedroom, amazing, immaculate penthouse right on the beach. Maybe in the editing, if I remember, I'll include like a little walkthrough. I did like a tour where I walk through. I'll have, you know, stuff like that on my Instagram. One of my good friends, I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, but it starts with a K. I'll just say that. He has a Lamborghini. He has photos of him in the Lamborghini. That's implied big baller game. So you have on your Instagram, you have this like amazing penthouse. You have a Lamborghini. You have this stuff. That's implied big baller game, and an actual like big baller game, like physically like giving them money is when you give them a gift. I always do implied big baller game, and very rarely I do like actual, like, you know, buying them a gift. I kind of did to prove a point and to test a method so I can have my clients who are older. I mean, I'm 37, so I'm no spring chicken, but I have clients that are in their 50s and 60s. And if they're going to try to date a gorgeous, you know, 21-year-old in any city, Miami, Columbia, doesn't matter, there's going to be something to kind of make up that gap in the terms of just like raw sexual market value. Just being a gringo and having a passport, if you're, you know, a bit older and chubby, isn't going to be enough. And there's some, you know, big baller game going on. So that's the first thing. Okay, there's going to be 5 of these in total about the evolution of what's working in modern times, and this is the first one. We've left the physical era of meeting women face to face. Then we were in the digital era. Now we're in the digital and monetized era. Okay, we are in the digital and monetized era of dating, and we don't simp, but we use big baller game. And the next one is kind of like what I just alluded to. I said we're in a monetized dating era, dating time frame, and we're also in digital, so social media. You have to learn social media game. Okay, this is it. There's no more excuses. If you have the social media profile that's what, like, you know, you holding up a fish with sunglasses on and like harsh lighting coming out. I don't know what you guys have, a car selfie, a mirror selfie, some old college photos of you and your brokey frat friends drinking, even if you got money now, but you're showing off low status, stuff like that. That just ain't going to cut it. Even if you meet women through real life, face to face, the first thing she's going to ask for is, what's your Instagram? What's your Instagram? What is your online resume? What have you done with your life? What content? What can I look at you? What can I take a look at, scan with my eyes and be like, I know what this motherfucker's about. I know what he's doing with his life. I know what his friends are. I know where he lives. I know what his hobbies are, okay? And the girl's thinking this. I can imagine as a girl, if I was to date this guy, by extension, what would my life look like? Are you social? Do you have friends? Do you do cool shit? Do you take vacations? That's one of the first things they're going to ask for. Social media will always come up, whether it's in person, whether it's on a dating app, whether it's through friends, whether you meet them directly on Instagram, which is what I recommend that you do. Actually, speaking of meeting women on Instagram, take a look at this. Hey guys, back to the video in 10 seconds, I promise, but real quick, if you want a list of all the hottest girls in your area from Instagram so you can stop using dating apps, which are garbage, and meet hotter, more receptive, less flaky women on Instagram, then go to my Instagram page, which is RedbeardRants1, and DM me the word scraper, and I'll give you more information. All right. Back to the video. All right, we're back. So whether you meet them on Instagram or anywhere you meet the girl, your social media is gonna come up at some point again, through person, through friends, doesn't matter how you meet them, and it could be something that helps you massively or hurts you. I notice that if I do cold approach and I get a girl's phone number, I may get, it's a pretty high flake rate. Even if my confidence, in person is good, it's maybe about only like 30% or 20% will actually end up going on a date with me. The vast majority, even if I get their number, have a good interaction, won't go on a date. It's about double that if I do an Instagram exchange, because they go from seeing like, oh, he's just this kind of confident guy that approached me at Starbucks. That's kind of cool, but I know nothing about him. It's just a random phone number, and they got too many options, because the women I hit on are all super beautiful, right? And it just kind of like falls through. But if I do an Instagram exchange, it's like, not only is this kind of like, charming guy that at the very least had the balls to approach me, he's, let's put my photos on the screen. He's doing podcasts. What type of guy would do a podcast? Someone smart, intelligent, has something to say. Same thing. He's giving a speech to a room full of people. Again, what does that say about me without even having to open my mouth? Leader of men, successful. I have something to say. It implies financial success. Again, going back to big baller game, which is the main thing, financial resource that women are looking for. Beautiful women anyway, not ugly chicks. You can date ugly chicks for free. Maybe I'm, wearing a blazer on a rooftop lounge, being social, eating at a nice dinner with a whole bunch of cool friends, whatever it is, travel mode, you just put like whatever pictures on there. But I think they get the point. My girl sees that and I go up. And also the great thing about this is that dating can be automated. Okay, you could have your whole dating life outsourced. There's more information if you want to know about that. Check the description of the video. Outsourcing your entire dating life with getting a list of girls on Instagram, having a virtual assistant go through that, the copy and paste messages database, which we already talked about at the beginning here. That's a huge advantage to learning social media and digital dating. It can be outsourced. It can be delegated. It can be systematized. The same way you outsource and create systems automations in your business, if you're an entrepreneur, even like doctors and lawyers, you guys are using, some type of, you have secretaries, you have assistants, you have VAs, you have something, maybe you're using some type of, automated CRM software that, follows up with clients for you. The same thing that you're doing with that, you can do with your business. And you just got to learn it. I don't know, like more and more people, again, we're talking about the trends right now, how to survive modern dating, going up and up and up, right? Modern dating is meeting on social media. 70% of all romantic relationships begin on some platform of social media. Okay, so learn that shit. Okay, so we covered that we're in a monetized dating market now, unfortunately. We covered social media. The next thing is looks. Unfortunately, looks is something that's getting more and more important. Back in my day, I'm so old, I'm 37, right? But back in my day, if you're at a house party, something like that, you would notice that the most charismatic guy always won. Now, within limits, if the most charismatic guy was a midget with like a half aborted fetus, there was like his twin brother died and they never like clipped it. He's just like a half dead like fetus hanging off of his face. Okay, maybe your charisma wouldn't have saved you. But I remember this kid, Ozzy Monas. He was this Filipino kid. He wasn't like a bad looking kid by any means, but he was short. He was Filipino in Los Angeles, especially at that time. It was probably like, black, white, and Latino guys that did the best. And, being Asian and being, shorter and more scrawny than the other kids, Ozzy Monas had the biggest personality. He picked up and he pulled the hottest chicks all throughout middle school and high school. That would not be the same thing today. Okay, girls are more and more brainwashed to value physical, like the looks of a guy. But the good news is that status, the wealth, the ability to be a big baller, to be a provider, trumps looks. And you only have to reach what I call a universal six. So if you look at me, guys, I'm not going to take my shirt off, but you can kind of tell like what my body looks like. I don't have scrawny arms. Like what I say is like, when it comes to like gym and working out, number one, don't be fat, which means get to about, depends how much muscle mass you have, but you want to be no more than 16% body fat. Okay, 16% is kind of like the number where it's like if you go below 16%, you look good, you look fit. If you go above 15, 16%, then you start to look chubby. And as far as like muscle mass, it should just look like if you were to like wind up and like boom, like slug somebody, like punch somebody in the face, that it would like really hurt and knock them out. Okay. You should have like that level of muscle mass, whatever that means, right? But like you should look more or less like me, like my level of muscle mass at the minimum. Because I'm no impressive physical specimen, but I am a universal 6, meaning I look better than most of the average guys you would walk past, on the street. I can bench press 225. I think I asked ChatGPT, that puts me in the, I don't know, like 98 percentile, 98 and 97 percentile of strength, something meaning only like 1 or 2 or 3% of men are stronger than I am. And I have terrible bodybuilding genetics. This is like the result of, I couldn't even tell you, I'm 37 now, so 18 years, 19 years of hardcore bodybuilding. That started when I was like, 16, 17, something like that is roughly when I started bodybuilding, heavily. Creatine, protein, tracking macros, this is a result. So if I can get to like this, you can get like this. You don't have any excuse to be fat and out of shape. You guys notice, even some guy like on another video, he like commented like, did Redbeard get jaw surgery? Like his jaw looks totally different. I didn't get jaw surgery. Okay. It's called grooming. Like I had a hair transplant. I cropped my beard to make it look like to kind of like accentuate. Here, let me move the microphone for a second. Move the microphone down here. To like accentuate my jawline, make it look like I got more of a jawline. The next step is getting the yellow teeth fixed. I'm going to get veneers, at some point. I don't have any problem with guys getting Botox or rhinoplasty. Don't make it an addiction. And understand that once you reach a certain threshold, then it just comes down to more like, are you the girl's type? So like, for me, for example, right? Like super white girls or super dark black girls are not really my type. But if they're like a 10, yeah, I'll go with a super dark black chick or a super white girl if they're like a 10. But for a morena, I'm a lot more forgiving. She doesn't have to be like perfect. You don't have to be, if you're like a olive skin, morena, you can be like a 7 and I'll still want to date you. And that's how it goes with me, right? Like a girl to date me has to be predisposed to liking guys with super white skin, ginger features, blue eyes. And that's a lot of girls' cup of tea, and a lot of other girls don't like it. So just get to Universal 6, hit the gym hard. Look, get a personal trainer, focus on this, make this the main, focus area of your life, even if it detracts from business or something else for a short period of time until you get it handled, and then life will be good. Okay. The next thing is charisma, okay? Charisma still matters, and it pains me to say this. Charisma matters less than it used to, okay? So this is good news for you guys that are a little bit, lightly autistic, that you lack social skills. You are dead in the water. You were dead in the water. You had absolutely no hope. However, this doesn't mean you should ignore it, okay? Swagger, social skills, charisma, confidence, that stuff still matters. Even if you have me, building an automated system for you, an ultra high status profile, your photos look like the ones that I showed earlier, and girls are following back, they're intrigued, they want to meet you. If you're a fucking schmuck on the date, if you can't hold eye contact, if you can't tell an entertaining story, if you're getting nervous, if you're sweating it out, yeah, that's going to hurt you, and you should still focus on this. But just understand, if you know that this is an area that you're weak in, good news for you, because it's mattering less and less. The world's getting more superficial based on looks and money and status, okay? Like I said, tall, rich, handsome guys with big muscles have always been in demand. But before, charisma can make up for that a lot. Now charisma and swagger is less and less important. And superficial things like money, being able to be a provider, are of the utmost importance, but you should still work on your social skills. This is not me telling you, don't work on your social skills, okay? Don't put words in my mouth. Don't misinterpret. Don't misunderstand it, okay? Still work on your social. Don't be a weird, guy, okay? Do day game. Just point blank period. When you see girls out, do day game. And if you've suffered from anxiety like I do, I suffer from massive anxiety, add in meditation, 20 minutes in the morning, and maybe if you have time, 10 or 15 minutes in the afternoon, and then 10 or 15 minutes at night before bed. Meditation literally changes the structure of your brain. It shrinks the amygdala, and you'll feel calmer and more present and more relaxed, and be able to free flow, free associate, tell stories, hold eye contact without getting nervous and stuck in your head. The next one is the rise of the necessity to chase femininity and be a remote worker and go overseas. So just to recap, we have money, monetized social dating marketplace, whatever I said, social media, the ever increase of social media. So money's on the rise, Social media, meeting people of that is on the rise. The importance of looks is on the rise. The importance of charisma is less important. And another thing that's on the rise and trending right now is the need to find more feminine women overseas. People say to my, I put a reel out that actually did pretty well. It got a decent amount of views and shares, stuff like that, where I said, it's funny that guys will see that I'm a passport bro on Instagram, and some hater, some, loser who lives in his mom's basement in Atlanta will be like, can't believe this guy had to leave the country to get girls. I could get girls right here in America. And I said in that short, basically, okay, dude, you can get all the 3s or 4s that you want. You can get all the masculine women that you want back home. Don't let me slow you down. I guess I'm no longer your competition. So more for you. I left. And they're all dating. They're all probably incels anyway. But even if they are getting girls, they're probably extremely unattractive because dating is just virtually impossible in these countries now, unless you're like a, super, super top level, top tier guy. But even if you are able to get a girl in the United States that is pretty, which I can help guys in the United States. I mean, it's not impossible. I can still help guys if you're in the United States, and you're, at least somewhat, above average looking. I can still help you in the United States. If you got money again, money's the main thing, right? I can still help you in the United States. But I'm just saying, even if I could get a girl there, which I can, she wouldn't be feminine. So no matter how beautiful she looks, even I could go up and get the hottest, like Barbie sorority white girl, 21 and beautiful, or, a big booty Latina in Miami, doesn't matter. They still wouldn't have the true femininity and the true appreciation that women have for you in overseas dating markets. So it's not about like, can you get a girl in the United States? It's should you? Do you want one? Because again, like even if you had a yacht, like I have a buddy who's buying a yacht, a client who's buying a yacht, rich kid out of Tampa. His name starts with the letter C. If he watches this video, he'll comment. He'll laugh. So yeah, C is buying a yacht, and it's like, dude, cool, but you're just another schmuck with a yacht. I don't know what to tell you. Like, yeah, I'm helping this guy. He's getting good results. But at a certain point, you got to ask yourself, and this is also for the guys, it depends on your SMV, and just like if you have kids in the US, if you just love America, but you need to start considering that. If you're not getting what you want, you've already done some of the work, which means building the high side of social media presence, investing in getting good photos, being in shape, you're a handsome guy, you're making above 150K, and girls are still scoffing at you like, oh, 180K a year. Well, after taxes, we're in New York, that's nothing. Like we can barely shop at Whole Foods, and she's like scoffing at you for making 180K a year. Bro, just leave. Like just don't sell your dignity anymore. Don't settle for anything else anymore. Understand that you're not the problem. It's just getting cooked in the West. And the thing that's going to save us is when like sex AI, Android robots come out. Like when a man can use like a VR helmet or some type of AI experience with like a physical like sex or something like that, which is coming, your children or your grandchildren will marry an AI straight up. We only have a little bit of time left where, true human connection, beyond just the point of like, for strictly breeding purposes is going to happen. And to be honest, kind of ready for that. Dating is getting really, really hard. These girls are getting more and more demanding. Last thing I'll say is, unfortunately about modern dating, it's a bear market, not a bull market. Bull markets, they get better, they get more profitable. Bear markets are on the decline. And you only have so much time to attract like a beautiful feminine woman, because every single day, more and more women are deciding to get tattoos, piercings. They're getting sugar daddies or, selling their body, doing OnlyFans, stuff like that, becoming more masculine. The influence and the reach of feminism is getting stronger and stronger. Women are going more and more employment, which is, great and fine for them. But when women earn money, when women like out earn or earn equal to a man, then they don't really need a man, and they become more masculine and they become more entitled, because that's what worked. That's what worked for the longest time. If women don't need a man financially, bro, that's what you see happening in places like Guadalajara. That's like a city in Mexico where there's just like too much money and the women are all like career women and work. Like, you know what I mean if you go to Guadalajara. That's what you see in like the United States, things like that. Women just, if they don't need a guy financially, then it's like, what do they really need him for? It's not sexy. Like women like to like kind of look up to the man they're dating as like this god, this provider, this like giver of life, this like superior. He's taller, he's stronger, he's more confident, he's more sure of himself, he has more experience, he's accomplished more in his life, he makes more money than I do, he's a provider. Girls like to feel like their man is like, way above them, like this, thing, and they're like kind of like just taking care of like this like, cute little baby that he like takes care of and stuff like that, and, fucks her brains out and shit like that. They like to give themselves, they like to submit to a man like that. But if they don't feel like they're above his level, then bad time. So that's what's happened with dating market. the modern dating market. That's your new manual. Focus on getting your money right, learning social media, being at least a universal 6 when it comes to your looks, skin routines, gym, things like that. Still focus on your charisma, but understand that it's not holding you back as much as it would have many years ago. And invest in learning remote work or something like that so you can find more feminine women overseas. Guys, if you want to work with me, there's information in the description of the video. Otherwise, just enjoy and subscribe for more free game. Peace out, boys.